How about this holiday photo from Kim and Kanye as they posted their family holiday photo? But there's one small detail that, of course, got everybody talking, and it's a 5-year-old who's a beautiful little girl, Northwest. She is rocking some bright red lipstick, and it has been facing some mixed reactions. So what do you guys think? Are you in favor of this? Is this glam? Or is this entirely too mature for a 5-year-old to be doing?
It's both. It's glam. She looks really cute, but it's too mature.
Would you not do that with your 5-year-old daughter?
I would not. So
Okay.
I definitely am, probably lean more on the conservative side for kids. Like I couldn't wear makeup till probably 16, 17-ish. I couldn't wear colored nail polish till probably high school. So like my mom was definitely like, you're going to be a little girl. You know, your hairstyle is going to be like a little girl. Nowadays they got, 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds walking around with like weave down their back and everything, bundles. It's just like, be a little girl, be a child.
Sure.
I have no problem with this. I think like her mom is the queen of glam. Her mom is Kim Kardashian, who has a multi-million-dollar makeup line. So it isn't crazy to me that she's wearing makeup. Kim has said before that she loves playing with makeup. And I was trying to think about like what is the appropriate age to start wearing makeup, and it's pretty random. Like, is it 16? Is it 13? And I think that the measure of this is when you're wearing makeup for yourself and for nobody else. And I think that North is genuinely into it, and she's genuinely wearing it for herself. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, one thing I'm not going to do is question a mother's judgment on this one. And I think if it was me, I only have a son. I cross my fingers every day because I think I'd be overwhelmed with a daughter.
I think you're going to have a daughter.
Well, if I do, obviously I'll love her just the same, and
Yeah.
she'll be spoiled, and she'll eat out of the palm of my hand naturally. But what I'll do there is lean on her mother to make those decisions. I as a man, I don't think I would know the right time for that. I think a woman knows when the proper time is to put on lipstick and when it should be in a controlled environment, when it should not. So I'm overmatched on this one. If you guys are saying it's too early, then I guess it's too early, right?
No, I'm saying it's fine.
She's saying it's not. So you're the tiebreaker.
Okay, so okay.
What are you going to say?
Yeah, choose,
bum, bum,
Jordan.
bum, the pressure's
Dun, dun,
on.
dun. I think I know.
I would wait. I
It's
actually do think I would wait. I think I would wait just a little bit.
Playing at home in makeup is one thing. You play like mommy. You can dress up like mommy and everything. But what, we're going to start letting her wear 4-inch stilettos now? She's 5. Her mom does that too. That's a part of fashion.
I feel like I have seen a video of her walking around in those, but at their home.
But at home, yeah.
It's just play.
And when you put that out on the internet, I try to be as protective as I can with my son. You just don't know the scaries that are out there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. With the start of the new year just around the corner, everybody wants to see how 2019 can be their best year yet. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling says the one thing that separates people who achieve success versus those who just dream about success is total failure. She says, quote, rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. So do you guys agree with this? Do you have to fail ultimately to succeed and reach your highest
I think it's
plateau?
really inspiring that she talked about this. I mean, and it's so hard too when you're down, like when you're in that moment where you don't feel on top and you have dreams, but you're not there. It's so important to just remember that, what you want to do, and keep going. But there's a couple of like quotes, and you guys might think they're a little bit cheesy, but like these have helped me when I'm really down. So one of them is a setback is a setup for a comeback.
Hey,
Yeah,
there
sure.
you
Look
go.
at it that way. And then
You
another
gotta
one.
face some adversity, right?
Yes, you do. And then the other one that I tell myself when I'm down is like, an arrow can only be shot by pulling it backwards. When life is bringing you back with difficulties, just imagine it's going to launch you into something great.
Nice. And I think it's so true. I got chills when you just said that. It's just so true. It's so inspiring. And I think a lot of us, we have been in that deep, dark abyss of nothingness before, where it just seems impossible. And so in 2019, I think this is a huge thing to remember. We're going into this new year. If your life isn't looking like the way you want it to look, like, this is great. You can only go up from here.
Yeah, you can only go up. I think that's why failure can be that motivating factor, is when you get to your lowest, there's only one way you can go, right? From there. So you're ultimately going to say, I give up completely, which you would never, ever want to see anybody do. Or you just say, hey, this is the point. I got to turn this thing around because I'm miserable. I'm at the lowest point. But you know what you need? You need a support group. It sometimes takes a village to lift you up. So you need good friends. You need family. You got to try to gravitate towards people who are doing things, and that'll ultimately elevate you as well. I've had low points in my life. I've had those low points directly out of college when I was very lost. I gave up basketball. I didn't have an identity at that point, which is a shame because there's so much more to me than basketball. But at that time, that's all I knew. Then I had a child unexpectedly, and that to me at that time was like, oh my gosh, it's an awful thing, because I was in such a bad place in my life, and I didn't know how I was going to make myself better, let alone another human being. And at that moment, and that's why I love my son so much, is because he changed me. That was the moment where I said, hey, Jordan, you can't be selfish, go out there, drink, party, chase women, do all these things that have you in the gutter. You got to start to succeed so that young man will have a chance, the opportunity that you were given from your parents.
Yeah.
So I do think you got to hit that spot where you look in the mirror and say, this ain't the person.
And you
I wanna be.
evaluate, right? I think that's what I'm
And look
hearing.
at you now.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Buttoned up in a suit
Little
on
shabby.
morning TV.
A little shabby.
There
So
you go.
it is true, everybody. So, you know,
Yeah.
2019 is as perfect time as any for anybody out
Or
there to say,
comeback.
hey, look,
Yes.
I'm going to put 2018 in the rear view and I'm going to be my best self, right?
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
All right, well, no one likes conflict in any relationship except for this one study who revealed couples who actually argue effectively, everybody. Argue effectively.
That's the
They're
key
10
word.
times more likely to have a happy relationship. So the key word there is obviously, and that's why I put the emphasis on it, is effective. So what do you guys think? Is fighting in a relationship, can that be ultimately a good thing?
I think it can be a good thing.
I don't see
think
you
the
being a
key-
fighter, though.
Well, we have like intense discussions. That's what I would call it. Like we're not like yelling at each
does that
other.
mean?
Like I don't like to do that kind of thing.
You
but
have
I will
cuss words
say,
in there? I think you should throw some
depends
cuss
how
words
mad
in
I am,
there.
Felicia. I sound like a sailor. No, and honestly, through dating and being in a couple serious relationships before I found my partner today, that's a thing that I look at when I'm evaluating if I could spend my life with that person is
Sure.
do we fight well together?
Yes.
Because there's people who do it dirty. There's people who they go crazy, and you need to make sure that you are on par with someone who's going to do it fair and be productive about it. So have a resolution at the end.
Yeah, I think one thing that is, one could say greater than love, or you could say as equally as important, is respect.
100%.
Can you respect that
Yeah.
person?
In those engagements,
Yeah, even in those heated moments where you just don't even think you could go on with that person. You see my hands going like this,
Yeah.
because I've been there where it's just like, we have no future. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, can you respect that person? Because you won't always feel like you love them. I think that's
Yeah,
the key
the
for
one
me.
that drives me nuts is anybody who takes a question like that, poses them, and goes, "Oh, I never fight." Well, if you never fight, then you got no emotion
Then
in your
you're
relationship.
suppressing everything.
And you guys aren't really doing it because that means you're not triggering any true emotions to
Yeah.
feel deeply, to really care about the relationship you're in. So
Yeah.
everybody out there fights to what degree. And to be honest, I mean, you know how open and honest I am. That's where I can improve.
Yeah.
I think I can get when I disagree in my relationship. Sometimes you fight dirty, and that's something where you go back to. You always want to think. Respect. This is a person that I love more
Yeah.
than anything in this
Yeah.
world. And even though we disagree, I don't need to take that shot. I don't need to play at that vulnerability right
Yeah.
there. And those are things that you'll learn as you mature in a relationship. And that's one of my shortcomings.
Yeah.
And I think maybe a lot of men out there can do that. And it can be overpowering to a woman. You got to understand, like, that's not how you talk to a woman. And that's not how you want to talk to the woman that you love. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm guilty of I can be better in that
And you were
regard.
saying too, like you brought up the issue of like suppressing it and not saying
Sure.
something when you're mad. And I have to say, like I used to not be comfortable speaking how I felt, and it's actually really empowering. No matter how you feel, it's valid because it's your feeling. So just saying like this is the thing that happened. This is how that makes me feel, and see how they react. And like how they react to that is a big thing because even if they don't agree with you, they have to respect the fact
Yeah.
that you feel that way.
Say it,
100%.
sister.
I gotta admit, I like the old Carly, because now she does do that. She'll go, Jordan, that shirt tie combination is awful. You look hideous.
I do not say that
Make
to
sure you
you.
change.
Never
I
say
thought
that.
it, but I've never said no. I'm just kidding. I'm just
I
kidding.
would say that.
There you go. That is definitely a Felicia right
I
there.
would not
Felicia.
say it like that. I would propose another option.